the rhythm in your body that has to do with rejuvenation, like mini resets throughout the day. Skip those, and if you don't give yourself breaks throughout the day, you're going to get worn out really quickly. But if you take a hour every hour and a half or so, you stop and just take a couple minutes to go for a little walk and everything, your productivity is going to shoot way up. I mean,
This is Leadership Sound Bites. Real leaders, real moments, real growth.
So welcome to this week's episode of Leadership Sound Bites. My very special guest, Cynthia Fluck.
yes,
It's
that's how you
Fluck
say
with
it.
an F. I had to think about that. Holistic transformation practitioner. I freaking love that title. I love that title. Because there's so much in there. You're certified in functional medicine as well as energy healing. I know founder, you're self-employed. April Wyatt connected us from the Hounds of Business. So thank you, April.
Yes.
And I literally could sit and chat with you forever about the whole functional medicine and energy healing. And so I know you have a quote to kick us off. And the reason that I'm excited about this conversation is when I think about us as humans, we lead ourselves first. And this is an area that people freaking pay attention to, because this is an area that we need to do. Most of us humans need to be better at leading ourselves in. So,
Yes.
what's your quote? Welcome to the conversation.
Yeah. So hold your thoughts when I say this, because it's going to come out as a little bit of a shock. But my quote is, shut your mouth. And I know that sounds rude, but there is actually a lot of meaning to it. So this quote comes from a book called Breath by James Nestor, and it's all about nose breathing and why we should keep our mouth closed. And as you mentioned earlier in our conversation, that quote also has a lot of layers to it, because we need to be better listeners than we are talkers. But in the context of what we're talking about today, and stress and overall health, and this is a really simple, impactful phrase to remember and to really burn into your brain and to catch yourself when you're breathing through your mouth. And it's, if you want me to go into it now, it's really interesting.
I do, because what you're talking about is one of those things I talk about in coaching already, right? Is to be the most effective leader that we can be in situations, we need to be in what Coach Shirzad with positive intelligence calls sage brain, to where it's empathetic, all the creative learning centers are firing, all that stuff. And to be in sage brain, we're not in fight or flight, survivor brain. And
Right.
so the connection is so freaking strong,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
where I love the topic. So yes, please talk about it.
Yeah. So a lot of us are mouth breathers, right? And we don't even realize it. We're sitting, doing something, and we might catch yourself. You aren't even aware of it because you're so used to doing it, right? So if you remember the quote, you remember to close your mouth. But here's what happens when you breathe through your mouth versus through your nose. So breathing through your mouth is signals heavy breathing. So it actually activates your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight, flight, or freeze nervous system. And for people who aren't really familiar with how the nervous system works, this is a survival response for our bodies. And when we activate that sympathetic nervous system, everything from our vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in your body, goes from your brain all the way to all of the major glands and organs in your body, right? It signals your body to physiologically change to be able to get away from the tiger in the woods. So it constricts your blood vessels so that you have faster blood flow to your heart. It brings all of the energy and blood flow and oxygen into the organs you need to survive. It pumps up your muscles, makes you stronger, releases adrenaline, increases the sodium content to constrict your blood vessels, makes you excrete magnesium and potassium and all those relaxation minerals, and zinc, like excretes those. It shuts down your higher thinking and gets your brain just to a point of, hey, I need to run faster to get away from this. And spurts of this are okay, but but in long term, it's also shutting down your digestion, it's shutting down your filtration systems, it's shutting down your ability to detox and heal. It is impossible for your body to heal and regenerate when you are in a sympathetic nervous system state.
Mm.
And we're not designed to be in that state chronically. We're only designed for spurts of it, right? We need to be chronically in a parasympathetic state. So, what happens when you breathe through your nose is a lot of things, actually. One, breathing through your nose triggers that vagus nerve to go into a parasympathetic state. So, your rest and relax and rejuvenate state opens the filtration, the detoxification, opens higher thinking. When we breathe deeply, it also, we get filtration through our nose, which we don't get through our mouth.
Mm.
We also have nitric oxide generators in our sinuses. So when you breathe through your nose, you're going to get more oxygen into your blood. And that oxygen is key for fueling mitochondrial and energy throughout your body. Deep breathing through your nose also starts to sync your heart and your brain. A lot of people don't know we actually have neurons in our heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our heart has its own memory. And when your brain and heart are coherent, magic starts happening
Mm-hmm.
in manifestation, in higher thinking, in ideas, in productivity, all of that. We can go into a lot more of physiology. And if you read that book by James Nestor called Breath, it's really interesting. It goes into all of the ancient traditions of breathing and breathing exercises through your nose, and physiological effects. They actually did an experiment where they taped their nose for 2 weeks and tracked their physiology and watched their blood glucose go up. They watched their heart rate go up. They watched their blood pressure go up. They watched everything, just all of those blood markers got worse and worse and worse. And then they went back to nose breathing and watched those
Isn't
markers
that
come down
crazy?
again.
So everything
Yeah.
else was the same. The
Yeah.
only thing that
Everything.
they did was the oxygen that they got was through their mouth and not through their nose.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really interesting book. I mean, so what to do about this? One, be aware. Be aware that
Yeah,
you're breathing through the nose so
yeah,
you can close your mouth, shut your mouth.
yeah.
Um, Two, set an alarm on your phone for every hour to an hour and a half. Escape to the bathroom or go to the water cooler or take a walk. And just while you're doing it, for just a couple of minutes, be intent on breathing through your nose, in and out through your nose, and deep breaths. So as slow as you can do, deep breaths, fill your lungs. When you think they're full, fill them a little more. You want to really expand that rib cage, drop the diaphragm, and really train your breath, your lungs to really fill up fully. And
Mm-hmm.
then exhale fully. And again, when you think all the air is out, compress your diaphragm and really push out more. And just
Mm-hmm.
get really intent on exercising deep, slow breathing. And the more you do this, the more you're going to train yourself to be in rest and relax more than you're in fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's interesting, the positive intelligence work that we went through. One of the what he calls PQ exercises, so positive intelligence exercises, um, is, and it just 10 to 20 seconds if you're in that space to where the saboteurs are going, right? All the narratives and the voices in our head, is breathing in through your nose, right? And it's just paying attention to the temperature of the air that you breathe in
I love
and then
that.
the temperature of the air as you exhale, but it's all through your nose. And I
Hmm.
never thought about, other than, you may be able to do it, but I think you can do more temperature through the nose. But all those extra benefits of what it is powerful, because when we're in, like I said earlier, when we're in a leadership position, this stuff is important to understand and recognize. The breathing through the mouth thing, I I don't know how you would pay attention to it or become aware of it if you're doing it without awareness. Other than the fact that if you set the intention for yourself that I'm going to breathe through my nose, and then your subconscious is helping you navigate and pay attention to this stuff. Because I think what happens is, and it could be that one is connected to the other. So when I think about this stuff, you've got people that our bodies and brains are wired, right, to where we're on
Hmm.
repeat mode. And by the time
Right.
we're in our late 30s, 95% of what we do is just habit, because we did it yesterday and the day before and the day before that. So when we try and get out of this hamster wheel cycle that we're in, Groundhog Day, if you will, we need to be intentional about that. And
Absolutely.
so part of it is to figure out, if you're getting up in the morning and you're telling yourself, and a lot of people do, here we go again. And that's the thought that you have. You've literally went, okay, let's load that tape, and obviously the here we go again, you're not telling yourself any positive things about what lies ahead for the day. You've
Right.
literally set
Yeah.
up, it's crap. I've got it, and I had clients go, well, when I go into this meeting, I have to armor up. Do you
I
realize what you've just told your body?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you're
you're
manifesting
in
that too.
battle. Huh?
You're manifesting that too. You're
Oh,
manifesting the
big
outcome. I mean,
time.
we don't we're always manifesting. Most people aren't manifesting on purpose, but they're manifesting. But the key is that you can manifest on purpose if you understand what you're doing with emotion and intent, right? Emotion and intent sent out as an electromagnetic pulse that sends out and like attracts like,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're putting out like I need to armor up for this meeting, you can bet your bottom dollar that you're going to have someone challenge you during that meeting.
Yep.
You know, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. But here's the other thing, you're talking about waking up and having those thoughts. 80% of our hormonal response is based on our thoughts alone.
Mm-hmm.
80%. Right? So, I mean, your body literally does not know the difference between whether you're imagining something or you're actually experiencing it. It doesn't know.
Yep.
So, if you're sitting there ruminating on something from the past, you're reinstalling those same traumas, those same worries, those same belief systems. If you're worrying about something that might happen in the future, like this meeting is going to blow,
Mm-hmm.
then that your body's already experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're already putting the hormonal process in place, the stress in place to gird your loins for that meeting, and you're causing damage to your body by doing it. In
Not
addition,
only that, to your
manifesting.
point, you're projecting out that energy. So there, when we go into something, and I've seen it time and time again, and then, and I've seen it time and time again, where all you do is these, like you're talking, Cynthia, these little shifts. These
Hmm.
little shifts. Set your intention for what you want. What's the ideal
Hmm.
outcome? And people go, well, I don't think that that's ever going to happen. Well, it's not ever going to happen if you don't put it out there. I think about what you want, not what you don't want.
Whatever
Because
you
when we
believe, you're
focus on what we
correct.
don't want, we get that thing, right? Because we're focusing on that thing where focus goes, energy flows. But it's like those little shifts, right? And the other thing that when we armor up or when we whatever, we put someone in a box or some situation where we're going into it going, well, they're just a difficult person. Okay, here's what I tell people. My experience is that people that we label as difficult, they have unmet needs. They have unmet needs, so they're showing up this way. Find out
Mm,
what they are.
that's very true. That is very true. Yeah.
So and when you ready yourself that way or figure it out, because I had one client recently that it was like, well, this physician leader is micromanaging and they're difficult to work with, all the stuff, right? And people who are listening are going, yes, I've worked with that person, right? Well, here's the thing. You go in saying they have unmet needs. What are those? Figure out what those are. They're showing up for a reason. Who the heck wants to live in that body who's miserable and micromanaging all the time? No one. So they don't do it by choice, they do it out of necessity. They think that's all there is. So
Yeah.
this person showed up differently, was giving them what they needed when they needed it. And I said, well, what happened? Oh my God, it's completely different. Yeah, how about that? How
Yeah,
about
that's an amazing perspective. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people come in, what are some other tips and tricks? Because you've got experience working with people from a completely different perspective, but yet similar overlapping ones, right?
Hmm.
Because a lot of this stuff, like I got certified in hypnotherapy like 2.5 years ago, probably. And what it did for me was create this massive awareness about things that I thought were true, right? That it's like, oh my gosh, there's a whole level behind this stuff that's real, that the change that we have, how we experience life is like right here. We can change it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's right
Yeah.
here. It's not
Yes.
like you have to go to some crazy place and spend some crazy amount of money. I mean, it's like right here.
Yeah. That actually brings that was my other quote that I was thinking about bringing up during this meeting is the more I learn, the less I know. And
Yes.
that's something I say a lot because And it's not that I'm becoming dumber, it's because every time you learn something new, a whole new world of perspective opens up, and it opens up new floodgates to new information of your world just expands. And where I was 10 years ago compared to where I am now, I mean, I used to be really in the whole aspect of, if it doesn't, if you can't touch it, it doesn't exist kind of thing, right?
Okay, no, you're no different now. What are you talking about?
I'm a totally
Radically
different person.
different.
I mean, it was a real shocker when that new world opened up to me and I
Yeah,
realized that everything I thought I knew was wrong.
yeah. Well,
Or
and
at
one of
least
my
or at
favorite
least
quotes, one
not
of my
current.
favorite quotes is thoughts become things.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but anyway, so yeah, you're absolutely right. There's perspective. I mean, we definitely need to. The more you can open your mind, the better. But I think that what you were asking is tips and tricks for people who are
Yeah,
kind of starting from ground zero, where we used to be before we learned all of this stuff,
yeah,
and how to get there from here. Well, I mean, the first thing is, what I mentioned before about getting yourself into a rest and relax state, because you're really going to, if you just set that alarm. One thing, I love that quote of shut your mouth, because it's such a pattern interrupt, and it's so shocking to people that they tend not to forget it, right? And then there's a sense of awareness there, where they're sitting at their desk at their computer and going, oh, I'm mouth breathing, right? And they start shutting their mouth. It's just an awareness and an education thing. It becomes forefront.
yeah.
Um,
Post-it notes are good too for that.
yeah, post-it notes, but just set in
Yeah,
a quick alarm on your phone. Make it sound like you're getting a phone call. So if you're in a meeting or something, oh, I gotta go,
yeah.
or every hour and a half. And by the way, we don't just have cycles for sleep. We also have cycles for stress and reset that goes about every hour and a half during the day. So
Really?
yeah, so you can really rejuvenate and get yourself more energy
What
by.
is what does that mean? Cycles of
Well, I mean, we have sleep cycles, right? Circadian
yeah,
rhythm. There's
yeah.
another rhythm, and I'm sorry, the name of it is
No,
escaping me
you're
right
fine.
now, but there's another rhythm in your body that has to do with rejuvenation, like mini resets throughout the day. And if
Really?
you skip those, and if you don't give yourself breaks throughout the day, you're going to get worn out really quickly. But if you take a hour, every hour and a half or so, you stop and just take a couple minutes to go for a little walk,
Yeah.
and everything, your productivity is gonna shoot way up. I mean, um,
I love
but
that. Okay,
yeah,
had not heard that before.
yeah, and I've got to look up the name of the cycle. I
Yeah,
apologize.
no, you're fine.
Yeah.
You've
But
impressed me so far with all the other stuff that you know as you're talking through this stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Wouldn't know the name of the nerve, wouldn't know the name, whatever. So
yeah.
you're doing great.
Thanks. Anyway, but getting yourself into that state, right? You're gonna start really engaging your higher thinking a lot more. And that's not just about creativity, but it's also about connection, with your pineal gland, to your higher self,
Yeah.
to your guides, your angels, whatever you believe in. I mean, there's a lot out there in the
Hmm.
common, um, there's like a collective knowledge, a collective
Hmm.
energy. And I mean, there's a lot of information behind this. It's really interesting. I mean, you'll see reports of people inventing the same thing on opposite sides of the world, like within a month of each other, and they're not copying each other, they're just downloading the same information,
Hmm.
right? Have you ever heard the 100 monkey experiment?
No. Oh,
So
wait, go ahead, say it because you're bringing back a
okay.
story that I've recently heard, but I
So
can't
I
say
hope I
it.
get this
Yeah.
complete right, but it's going to be close at least. Basically, there was an island that had these monkeys on it, and they went and trained the monkeys to start washing their mangoes. And after a couple generations, all the monkeys started washing their mangoes. Well, before they knew it, monkeys on different islands that had absolutely zero physical connection with these other monkeys started washing their mangoes. I mean, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it,
Yes.
because it just goes back to, there's no such thing as a brand new idea.
Hmm.
No such thing. And if we get ourselves connected to that higher thinking, right? We get ourselves open, we get our mind open, and we get our pineal gland decalcified, nix the fluoride, by the way. If we get that open and we get connected to that higher thinking, I mean, how many of you have been in the shower before and all of a sudden an idea came to you or a solution to a problem came to you. It's not by accident. There's a lot of ionic energy in that water that's flowing around you. And people get more connected when they're in that relaxation state of
Mhm.
relaxing and washing off the day. And then they have the ionic energy of the water around them. And suddenly they get a download like, I got it. I know how to solve this problem. You can do that all the time
Mhm.
if you're intentional about it. If you understand that that connection exists when you are not in fight or flight and when you're intentional about
And
being at
that,
peace.
Cynthia, is the freaking key. And I think what happens a lot of times is people send themselves into that, and because they've been in it for so long, they think that's normal, or there's no other way. And it's
Yeah.
like
And
there
here in
is
the US,
another
there's a
way. It's
culture
not
of it
normal.
too.
Huh?
Here in the US, there's a culture of it too. There's a culture of work harder, work longer,
And
right?
busy.
And
Busy.
yeah, and busy.
People wear busy like a badge. It's
Yeah,
like, what's that?
busyness is
Busy.
not business.
No, no.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing. So for me, I tell people it's like if you're in it so much, I find that they don't necessarily recognize that they're in it.
Right.
And so one of the things I'll say is if you're saying things to yourself, because we all have narratives going,
Hmm.
like this has to be done, I don't have time, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out, all these things that, by the way, there's so many nuances that because we're owning that identity and then we're sending ourselves in this cycle. But I ask people to pay attention to the language we're using, the words we're saying to ourselves, and whether or not they make us feel good or they drag us down.
Hmm.
Because the dragging down is a lie. All
Right.
right. So because a lot of times they don't know if we're in a coaching relationship and I'm hearing the language, I can have a conversation about it, mirror it for them, and we can unpack it. And they're going, "Oh, I didn't realize that." But we don't. So how do you send people off between coaching sessions so they're able to recognize what's going on? And that's part of it. Is the narrative you have going, the language that you're using, is it moving you forward? Or is it anchoring you down, dragging you down, making you
Yeah.
feel bad? If it makes you feel bad, check it and flip it because it's not the right language.
Right.
But
That's
these little
absolutely
shifts can
true.
make a
Yeah.
huge difference.
They can, absolutely. Language, and there are subtle aspects of language that a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people say, I don't have time.
Mm,
Everyone has the same 24 hours in the day.
mm-hmm,
And that's a very victim mindset. I don't have time. You're a
mm-hmm,
victim to the timeline that's in your life. And a more empowering mindset is to say, my priority is,
mm-hmm,
right? If someone
mm-hmm,
says, "Can you do this for me?" and I say, "Oh, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I have so much to do. I have too much on my plate," right? Say, "Well, I understand that you need that, but my priority right now is this.
mm-hmm,
I will get to you when I can." That is
mm-hmm,
empowering, right? So those type of things. Instead of saying I can't afford, say how can I afford?
mm-hmm,
How can I be a creative and make this work?
mm-hmm.
Right? All of these different types of things. Instead of saying but, say yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right. I like you, but, say, well, I like you, and yet there are things about your personality that may disturb me a little bit. Not
Yeah.
you, hypothetically, right? I mean, just different ways of communicating and words. Um, you mentioned earlier, though, I wanted to bring up that, by the time we're, what, 30, 35,
Yeah,
maybe
late 30s. Yeah.
5% of what we do
Yeah.
is entrenched already. And language is something that is a program
Mm-hmm.
that's running for us already. And to just say, I'm going to change it takes a lot of effort and time and training to do it. It's much easier and much faster to retrain that mindset when you're in a meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we activate the theta brain waves, right, we're getting more deeper into our subconscious mind. We need to change that pattern subconsciously, not just consciously.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be in there. So that's something that you can intentionally meditate on is changing your language and changing perspective through meditation. And meditation doesn't have to be like the sitting around in robes with your hands on your legs going om all the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
Meditation can be drawing art. It can be gardening. It can be cooking. Meditation is anything that makes you become less aware of time,
Mhm.
right? Whatever resonates with you. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to be a guru, right? It's just, it could be that time between laying your head on the pillow and falling asleep where you're just relaxed and you take deep breaths through your nose and you say, I ask and intend to change my perspective to recognize the the gratitude in life. And when
Mhm.
I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to be in a state of gratitude. And boom, you fall asleep and that's it. And that will
Mhm.
change so much more than just sitting around going, oh, I got to correct my language, right?
Mhm.
It really gets a lot deeper than just,
Yeah. I agree. It's interesting. It's the and setting the intention for the day, right? When you first wake up, like we talked earlier, instead of going, oh, here we go again, don't go there. For me, it's like today's going to be a great day. And that's my intention. My other intention is that I want anyone who's in the room with me to be blessed with pure love and light, joy, gratitude, and happiness, right? I want people to
yes,
feel the energy and the welcome, right? That's my intention.
yeah,
And when we set that, we move through life differently. And I had one client, I remember when we met, and she goes, I want to tell you a story, Michelle. She said, I got up this morning and the first thing in my brain was, oh God. And she goes, I stopped myself immediately. And she said, you know what? I'm actually looking forward to my first cup of coffee. I'm looking forward to whatever. She said, and 10 minutes later, I'm in the kitchen with my coffee. And she goes, today could have been a completely different start to the day had I not caught myself in that moment and went into gratitude and a different place. And so, to your point, it's not necessarily a light switch, right?
right.
But it's planting seeds of awareness to where we
Mm-hmm.
can start making other intentional choices. And the other thing I'll ask clients is, what's different? And a lot of times people go, nothing. Really? Nothing's different. And the client that I was telling you about before that had the completely different interaction with that micromanaging, difficult, air quote, difficult
Mm-hmm.
person. When I said, what's different? She goes, nothing. I said, nothing? Everything's the same? Nope, nothing. I said, well, what about that other individual, dude? Oh, that. Well, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I said, okay, so next time when you ask yourself or someone asks you what's different, that's different. But we go into repeat mode. And so we start calling
Yeah.
out those
But
what's different and then we start seeing them.
yeah, absolutely. But you know what I find a lot with my clients is they forget how bad they used to feel. When
Yes.
we change things on a subconscious level, they will actually forget that they were in excruciating pain a month ago. And I keep, all of their symptoms and I
Records.
keep track of everything throughout working with them. And and it's interesting. They'll redo their symptom checklists for me and I'll go over it with them. I said, 2 months ago, you rated this a 4 and now it's a 1. And I don't have a scale of 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And I'll go, oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot I used to have headaches every day. Because when you change things subconsciously, you're literally rewiring yourself. You're becoming a
Mhm.
new person. You're becoming a more optimized version of yourself.
Mhm.
And you forget how bad it was, which I think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I love reminding them, like, oh yeah, I forgot that changed.
Well, now they can celebrate and have gratitude for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. The other thing, I started following Dr. Joe Dispenza and the work that he
I
does
was
with.
going to bring him up. Yes, I love
Oh,
him.
good.
I've
Oh
been
my
to 5 of his advanced meditation retreats and I use his techniques in my sessions.
Oh my gosh, I want to go to one. There's one coming up in Florida at some point
Yeah,
too.
he does a lot at Marco Island and some in Orlando and
Yeah,
some
I
still
do want to
coming up.
go, and they're super affordable. Yeah,
Compared
super
to a lot of
affordable.
other
Yeah,
retreats, yeah.
yeah, for
But they're
what?
amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
so I
they're
do want to
amazing.
go. But it's one of those things that the possibilities of what you can do from shifting this stuff is so powerful. Um, and I want people to, I encourage people to embrace that and realize we have the control within ourselves.
Yeah,
Um,
your thoughts literally create your reality.
yes, yes. So I just that to me
Wow.
is what's so exciting is that, and the other thing that I tell people is if I know everything about your external environment, I can only predict 10% of your future happiness. It's an inside job.
Mm-hmm.
So if people who find themselves going, well, I'm having a bad day because of da 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 da. or I'm did it because I'm feeling this way because of XYZ.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Stop.
science. There's a lot of science behind these statements too.
Yes.
It's not just
Because you've
talk. It's
literally
not
gone
just
in
lip
victim mode and
service.
handed over the control of how you feel to somebody else in some other situation. Take it back. Take it back.
Yeah.
And I view stuff completely differently now. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I have the control and the power over me. If stuff happens where before I might got upset, and we're talking years ago, I look at stuff now and go, well, that's an interesting thing to do. I wonder what would cause someone to do that. But I don't own it. It doesn't impact me. I'm just looking at it from, not
Yeah.
sure that I would have made that choice.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
it's cool stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that people understand you do functional medicine and energy healing.
Hmm.
Um, and I know the answer, but I want you to share with other people because you're in Florida. But is geography a problem?
No, not really. I mean, as long as you have an internet connection and speak English, I'm good.
Exactly.
I mostly work with people in the US just because ordering labs for people across the world is super
Oh,
difficult.
it's tough.
I mean, I can do it. It's just not as straightforward. And I don't have to order labs for people. I can usually work with them without labs if need be. Um, it's just, but so I mean, I do have some clients over in the Netherlands actually right now. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
but yeah, I'm not bound by geography so
Okay.
much. So
Okay.
for sure.
I want people to know that if they want to reach out and work with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I freaking love this time, Cynthia, and open invitation to come back whenever you
Yeah.
want.
I feel like there's so much more we could talk about.
There is, and that's what I'm saying. It's an open invitation to come back whenever you want.
I would love that.
Because I
Yeah.
think what you have to say is going to help us mere mortals on this planet navigate through and just live happier, healthier lives.
Yeah. We're
So
not
what
mortals
are,
though.
yeah, huh?
We're not mortals. We're energy beings.
Well, we're the body is. The
Yes.
body
We're
is.
we're energetic beings having a physical
We
experience.
are energetic beings having a physical experience. I totally agree with you. And we need to take care of this physical experience so that
Yeah.
we can make it last. We can make it
Absolutely.
last. If Peter
Absolutely.
Diamandis has anything to say about it, it's going to be well over the 120 that our current telomeres will allow us to live. But yeah, so
We can influence that too.
I
We can
know. I mean,
we
that's
can
what I'm
lengthen our
saying.
telomeres.
Yes, all this stuff is it's
People watching and going, what the heck are telomeres?
what? Well, my grandson
Well,
is
we'll
the one
save that for
that
next one.
exposed me because my grandson exposed me to telomeres, and he was probably 5 or 6. He's like, and it was so funny. I have to share this really quick, and then I'm going to ask what 1 or 2 things you want people to walk away with. When he was talking, he was probably 5 at the time, 5 or 6. He may have been younger, but his little brother had been born, Reese, and so they're 3.5 years apart, or a little over 3 years apart. And Ken, in his mind, was working all this stuff out because the telomeres were 120 years, and he goes, "Mama, I think I need to live longer so that Reese isn't left alone."
Oh,
when we and it was so here his brain was working all this stuff out that he didn't want his little brother left alone when he had died before him. So he goes, I think I need to live longer so that Reese isn't left alone. So
yeah.
anyway, the little brain.
Yeah, that's
So
so
yeah.
sweet.
So what 1 or 2 things do you want people to walk away with?
Okay, so I think, one is that all of this new information can be very overwhelming. Don't let it overwhelm you. Baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Healing and changing is not a linear process. You're not going to get a better day every day in and day out. There's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, ups and downs, ins and outs. Be patient with yourself. And there's no such thing as failure when you're going through this process. It's all a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a bad day or you've fallen back into bad habit patterns, don't worry about it. Just say, journal that night and say, what could I have done differently to avoid this situation? And that's
Mm-hmm.
all. It's a celebration. It's a learning experience because the
Mm-hmm.
people that succeed have failed more times than the people that haven't even tried.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I said that backwards, I think. You know what I mean. Anyways,
Well,
you fail
people that
forward.
succeed have failed a lot because
Yeah.
failure is on the
Yeah.
path to success. You
Hmm.
can't have success without failure.
Right. You can't. You can't. And
No.
in fact, you succeed better with failure. But so I mean, I would say if you're just starting out, focus on the breathing, focus on the nose breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that to start and get yourself trained to be in a rest and relax state more than you're in a stress state.
Mm-hmm.
Because we become, and it's going to be more difficult than it seems because we become comfortable in our own chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So when we try and change that, our body's going to fight back, our mind is going to fight back. So just stick with it little by
Mm-hmm.
little every day. And before you know it, you'll look back and won't even recognize who you used to be.
Mm-hmm. My kids tell me that, my son especially, he goes, Mom, you're a completely different person than when we were younger. And I'm like, yeah, I feel it. I
Mhm.
I I feel it. And so and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. Yes.
I agree with you. The other thing that I'll say is words matter, right? And the most important ones are the ones we say to ourselves. So if you find yourself, because what stood out for me, Cynthia, is when you said bad day. Bad day means there's some kind of judgment
Mm-hmm.
around good or bad, like there was. Um, Pick other words. Today didn't work out like I planned. Today had more opportunity. Today was a little bit of a challenge. But when we go into the, white, black, good, bad, place, it's connected to so many other things in our
Mm-hmm.
subconscious.
Yeah.
And so find a different way to label it, and
Yeah.
because it's that reflection stuff. And if you hit it out of the ballpark every day, your goals are not hard enough. You're not stretching yourself enough, right?
That's so true.
So put other ones. I mean, because that's how we know that we're going to learn and grow. It's like I had a client
Yep.
earlier. She's like, well, I don't want to, I exclude myself from any other job opportunities because I don't have all the boxes checked. And I'm like, if you got all the boxes checked, you're going to be bored inside of a couple months. You need to go where the boxes aren't all checked
Mm-hmm.
and know
Growth
that you've got
happens
the
in
skills and the
discomfort.
foundation to be able to pull it together. Challenge
Yeah.
yourself. Go into stuff. Go, this is scary, because on the other side of that is this is exciting.
Yes.
So,
Yes. That is so true.
we're
I
doing
love
this
that.
again, please.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
love to. This
Yeah.
has been
Okay,
really
cool.
fun. Really
Okay.
fun.
Have an awesome rest of your day. And please like, share, subscribe. This is Leadership Soundbites with Cynthia and Michelle. And until next time.